Manitowoc ice machine IY0324A. Let me double check. IY0324A. So we're off on long freeze, long harvest. We're just gonna go ahead and clear these real quick, scroll all the way down the bottom for both of them, and then you hit clear alert. Make this real easy on ourselves. We're just gonna turn it on. We're gonna run through the sequence of operations. First 45 seconds, the water pump and the dump valve will be energized, send all the water down the drain. Then we're going to go to the pressure equalization. Your harvest valve is going to open for 5 seconds, and then the compressor starts for 5 seconds. Hot gas valve closes, then you're in pre-chill, and you start filling up with water. Initially, I thought that my water level probe was disconnected, but turns out that it was replaced. If you can see the new plug. So it was replaced with a new water level probe and a new wiring harness, but they just left the old harness hanging out right there. Looks like they might have done the same with some temperature probes. Not a big deal. Now that we're in pre-chill, we should be filling with water, which we are, but that amount of water flow into the water trough is far too slow. I'm just gonna go ahead and watch it fail real quick. I do have a timer going, so I'll be able to see how long it actually takes. I think in a perfect world, with the initial pre-chill being 2 minutes, this water trough should be at a minimum filled up and the water inlet valve shut off by the time pre-chill's over. If it's not, this is the water filter right here. It does look rather impacted with whatever the sediment is. I'm just gonna go ahead and take it out initially, replace it. It's only about a $25 or $15 filter. So we'll see if that fixes the issue. We're 4 minutes into this. My water inlet valve is still on, even though you can't see it. But this is interesting as well. That's my dump valve. I took the drain hose off of it, and ever since the water pump turned on, there's a constant running of water coming out of here. So I know that there's something wrong inside of here. There's a piece of debris, the plunger is ripped or torn or something. So we're going to check this simply by turning this. Now that I shut the power off, so a bunch of water doesn't just dump out of here. And then we're gonna pull this up and out, maybe. Oh my God. That happens sometimes. You just gotta dig this thing out of here. See what the issue is. It's probably pretty bad. Oh my goodness. So that's what the dump valve looks like. That is obviously bad. It shouldn't be like that. The machine will never make ice because on top of the fact that there's low water flow going into the water trough, this is stuck open. So your water is going down the drain instead of freezing to the evaporator. So I need to clean this, replace that water filter, and then we'll see what the change is like. I had taken this thing to the sink and tried to scrub it and pick at it. I got some of it off, but it's being pretty stubborn. So what I have right here is some Manitowoc ice machine descaler, and I'm gonna go ahead and just set this inside here, and if you can see it, but that's gonna chew it up really good. It's gonna start bubbling. Pretty soon that stuff will start falling off on its own, and that's what we want. Give that a couple minutes to do its thing, and I'm gonna go over there and change that filter and get you a good shot of what this milkshake right here looks like, and pour that out. It's all sorts of disgusting. I don't know what's in their water, but luckily they're filtering it. Took that to the sink, rinsed it out, slide a new filter in it. It's not exactly the same as the other, whatever the General Electric filter is. This is just a simple 5 micron poly something another filter. As soon as I clicked on that water, all that brown junk just filled it up. So what was once a white pre-filter is now already all browned. It's kind of terrible. I took this to the sink, gave it a little bit more scrubbing after letting it soak in the ice machine descaler. It was actually a lot easier to just let it soak than to scrub it and pick at it and try to get all that scale off. Just let the descaler eat it away. Now I'm just gonna put this back together. This goes on exactly the way it came off. I'm just gonna slide it down in there, and it should just be a quarter turn to lock it into place. It might give you a little bit of trouble, but if you work at it, it should pop in there. With the water filter changed, the dump valve taken care of, we're gonna turn this on, let it run through the same sequence as it did before, and I'm going to note the difference in the water fill and the fact that there's no longer water leaking out of the dump valve going down the drain. What the heck? I took the hose off of my water inlet valve so you can see the amount of water flowing out of it. When I had this connected to the machine, the water inlet valve was only dribbling by. It was actually worse than it was before. After putting it all back together, it actually has gotten worse. So I've navigated on my touchpad so I can enable all relays. That means that my water inlet valve is on. I can tell because all of these lights are energized, and the one right there that says water is energized. This has power because that's on and that's on, but I'm not getting anything through here. Actually, I take that back. A little bit of drips and that's it. Unfortunate that it happened right after I changed the water filter. There may have been just a little bit of sediment that passed by, clogged up my water inlet valve. I did try blowing it out and clearing it out. Didn't help, didn't work. So now we get to talk about replacing the water inlet valve. Unfortunately, it may have been my fault, but fortunately I have a replacement water inlet valve, and I'm just gonna go ahead and pull that guy out right there. The only thing that really sucks about doing this job is the smaller the machine, the more compact everything gets. So it's a little bit of a struggle to get that part out. Easiest way to do this is after you relieve the water pressure, disconnect that 1/4 inch water line, and then we're gonna take out these two, I think they're 5/16 screws, and then this whole bracket should kind of come out so we can not have to work deep down inside there. Wasn't the easiest thing to do, but got that pulled out. Now it's just a matter of taking these new parts out of the box and installing them on there. Take off these two screws. This will go right there in its place. It's got a new one of these, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and throw it into the machine. New water inlet valve is all installed, hooked up, Water's turned back on, power's turned back on. I'm going to just go to my control board, enable relays, and just like that, we have good water flow. And now we're gonna throw this back together, see if it makes ice. If it does, that's fixed. Now that this thing's up and running, I can show you what this dump valve should look like while it's in freeze, which is, there should be no water running out of it. Like I showed you earlier, that dump valve, actually the plunger inside of the dump valve just needs to be checked, cleaned, and then put back together. That's what you should look like after cleaning the dump valve. No water leaking out of there until the end of freeze, and then the machine will dump water to get rid of the calcium buildup. That's just part of the normal maintenance. I don't remember where it was that I left off, but I ended up taking this thing all apart, cleaning all my parts, putting it back together. We are now in freeze mode. Everything seems to be working as it should. I have a timer going to make sure my freeze cycle isn't too short, isn't too long, as long as my ice pattern looks good. I did clean out the storage bin. When this drops, we'll check ice thickness, make sure everything is squared away, and then I'll be on to the next one.